The GMen Show 32. Neo yes or Neo no?
Yeah, it's the GMen Show. Talking fruit, tech, and ego. Hot takes, cold coffee, still hitting every keynote. They roast your phone. No. They roast each other. Tips, rants, one after another. Is that a feature or just a bug? Either way, it gets a shrug. GMen Show. Turn it up. Let the fanboys know. Questions, rants, or a nerdy confession. Call in now. Join the obsession. 703-828-46777. 703-828-46777. Yeah!
And welcome everyone to the GMen Show. I'm Guy, and he is still not Gaz. Gaz is still away for reasons that I'm not going to go into because it's none of your business. But let's talk about the MacBook Neo. Now, this is the smash hit of the spring for Apple. It's a sleek design, lightweight, sturdy materials. It's the laptop for those that don't need the power of an M series chip, but it's not perfect for everyone. So what might be holding some people back from buying one? And my guest this week is someone who has a Neo, and we're going to talk about why it might not be the laptop for you and what Apple might do for the next one that'll make it better. So introducing Marty Gencius. How are you, sir?
Hi.
We haven't been
great.
talking for the last hour.
I'm better now that we've actually started this show.
Okay. I get that.
And you got something incorrect. I own two Neos, not one Neo.
Two Neos. Okay.
Yeah.
I really have to ask why two Neos.
Vanity.
Okay. So
it
like
was
stereo.
I bought the Citrus one and paid for it in full, and then got an opportunity to purchase one on installation or regular, bill, a partial bill. Yeah. And really wanted the blue one, the dark blue one.
It's a nice color.
And it is, except the keyboard looks like somebody spilled grape juice on it. The keyboard is a little too blue for me.
Am I blue?
And I figured eventually I would give one of them away. And maybe that'll happen sometime soon. I don't know,
well,
but I do.
Do it like on one of your podcasts, of which you have many,
including the Neo Notebook, which is all about the Neo Notebook. Yeah. So yeah, I
go with that.
Yeah, but I don't want to give it to some schmuck.
Well, it just so happens that we're both going to be at MacStock.
Yeah.
So if you were looking for someone to give it to, that would be a good venue to do something like that. And incentive for anyone who's still on the fence about going to MacStock, which is going to be July 9th through the 11th or 12th. I don't have it up here.
12th, yeah.
Of July this year coming up. And it's a great show. If you are on the fence about going to this show and you're a Mac user, you should get off that fence because it really, really is a wonderful show. Terrific community, great speakers. And, Mike Potter should be paying me for these ads that I do for MacStock, but he doesn't. I don't understand why. It's weird.
Yeah, the thing about MacStock too, it's, I went to my first one probably 8 years ago.
Yeah.
I think I missed the first one, and it's a small enough community, 100, 110 or so people that will be there. It seems to get a little bigger every year, but not a lot bigger, that it's easy for you as a new person to come in and just connect with people. We're eating lunch together. We're sitting around the table. You get to meet each other, and it's a non-threatening in that way. And
there is drinking. So there's that.
Yeah.
So other than, making the extremely poor decision of coming onto the GMen Show, I know that you do other podcasts as well as part of a network. Why don't you tell me about that?
Yeah, You know what you do is you make a network up for something that you're doing, so it makes it sound like you're bigger than you are. So when I first started doing podcasts, I first started doing podcasts back in 2006,
Yeah, me too.
and enjoyed it and put it down for a long period of time, then picked it back up. So when I started this again, I started with a couple of podcasts and then added on to it. But it all falls under the podtalk.net. So that is the website. And I have got, as I mentioned, the Neo Notebook, which we just started about 3 or 4 weeks ago with Brett Kennedy, Dave Ginsburg, and also Eric Bolden. I have Vision Profiles, which is about the Vision Pro headset that Apple has. It's a weekly podcast. And again, with Dave and with Eric and with Daniel joins us on that one. Gear Up and Go I did with my son, and it is about tech material, tech stuff that you need when you travel.
Oh,
and so it's kind of fun. The old Mac gang was because I slandered a group of people who were in my Mac user groups and decided I had to start a podcast with them to deal with what do age-seasoned Apple users need to know about. So we have that podcast. Fade to Chat is one that I do with Cindy Rotz about movies from the 30s, 40s, and 50s. Absolutely nothing to do with tech, but just sort of a love affair. 15-Minute Bites, which is a podcast that you kind of forced the discussion on. It is 15 minutes.
It would lead to that.
We just started on our chat going through a bunch, figured out how much foodies tech people are. So it's 3 minutes of who you are, what do you do, and then 12 minutes of what's your favorite recipe. Here's the recipe. How do you cook it? What do you think about it? Right. And we've had some interesting guests, and Guy actually provoked the first idea, and I've got to get him on there sometime.
Still haven't been on it.
Yeah, there's other ones that are on there. You can go to the podtalk.net is the website and see the shows that I'm involved in doing.
Yes.
Plus Chuck Show, Dave Show. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So
Chuck
Mac
Show,
Voices,
Dave Show.
Tuesday nights at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time.
Yeah. In touch
Dave's
with
show.
In touch with iOS.
Why am I blanking on that? In touch with. I've only been on it like 100 times. In touch with iOS. Dave Ginsburg is the host on Thursday nights at 8 p.m. And the thing that both these shows have in common, besides a lot of the same people, is they're both fun group podcasts that on occasion kind of go off kilter and, tangents away from whatever the heck it is that they're talking about, especially when Jeff Gammon and I are on. It's not on purpose. It's just how we're wired. Anything else that you want to plug before we get going here?
Nope. No.
Okay.
I plugged enough and I appreciate it.
Sure.
Thanks.
I spent last week mostly in Asbury Park, New Jersey, where my wife and I have some friends. And I got to tell you, I love food. I really, really do. And why I don't weigh 700 pounds, I don't know. But we went to Little Italy in Manhattan, and I had the best veal fettuccine piccata that I have ever had. And if anyone who doesn't know what that is, it's veal and it's grilled with pasta. And then the sauce is made up. The main part of the sauce is butter, garlic, and lemon. And those three together, if they don't split, here we go. We're going right into
the 15-minute bites.
Right. It's delicious, and I've had it well made twice. Last week in New Jersey, and then there was a little place in Williamsburg, Virginia called Sal's that had it. And they also had it with chicken. You could get chicken fettuccine piccata, and that was also very, very good. So big thanks to, I don't know if her and her husband listen, but big thanks to our Asbury Park friends, and hope to see them very, very soon. And it looks like you've got some stuff written here called work week meetings, equipment failures,
Yeah.
and new purchases. So let's hear about that.
Yeah, when I read your thing about or heard about your thing in terms of Little Italy, and I said Gaz was in, or a guy was in Cleveland in Little Italy, and then realized no, the other Little Italy.
Yeah, there's little Italies in almost every major city in the United States. No, it was Little Italy, Charleston, North Carolina, or wherever.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it was good. That was good. Piccata.
Yeah. Yeah, I had to suffer through work meetings. I should have been at a conference, but frankly didn't want to travel to it. But I was involved in a couple of boards at the conference.
Mm-hmm.
And so I showed up for their all day long board meetings where I was supposed to do my piece for like an hour. And then it was, you're online and you're waiting. And they're like, yeah, we're running late. Can you just hang online?
Shocker.
And then it goes into the second hour. Then you do their thing and they go, okay, we're going to do a lunch break. Can you come back after lunch to do this other part? And you sit and wait for 2 hours. So it was one of those, I should have been there. I just should have been there.
Where was it?
And then it was 2 hours away from where I live. I could have driven down there and driven back, but I just didn't want to do the drive. And they were offering me online. Yeah. They were offering me online options, but they didn't tell me they were going to tie me up the whole time for online all day.
And you're right. You should have just gone ahead and done the drive. You might have been able to go to their Little Italy and get some terrific piccata.
I don't think Columbus has a Little Italy, but I don't know.
I lived in Columbus for about a year, right off of Morse Road and Route 3.
Okay.
Sorry,
that tells me nothing.
From nowhere. Yeah, I know. If you stay on Morse Road and take it west, you end up off of High Street near Ohio State University.
Yeah, which is why I don't like going to Columbus. I teach at Kent State University, and we always have to be on bended knee when everybody says OSU. I understand they have a nice little university built around a football team.
Yeah, I've heard that.
At OSU.
I've heard that.
Yeah. So yeah, that, and then I was trying to do a podcast and getting all sorts of distortion, and figured out that my XLR connector had broken and had to get a new one. So I did direct in with USB, and of course recorded a whole show with it not being set to the right microphone because I didn't check.
Oh man, that sucks.
With horrible room echo, and there's no way you can fix that. So I had to tell these guys, sorry guys, it was somebody else's podcast.
How come they didn't just tell you that you were having audio issues?
No, it was my podcast, and the guys who are on the other listening end, they're not listening for sound quality. They're just happy they can hear me.
Okay.
But if it was anybody in this group and anybody in the other groups, they go, yeah, Marty, you're on the wrong microphone.
Yeah, which has happened.
Yeah.
Not necessarily with you, but with other people as well.
Yeah. So that was a thing. So I finished my week by making ice cream. Jill McInerney of Jill of the Northwoods, who appeared on 15-Minute Bites, talked about making homemade ice cream and got me into this. And I've been making it for like my future daughter-in-law's bridal shower that she had a couple of weeks ago. Yeah, I'm just paying for the damn thing. Okay,
yeah, that's how it works.
You don't need to congratulate.
I congratulate the place where it's going to be, and the caterers and everyone else. They're all taking Marty's money.
And
way to go, guys, thumbs up.
Yeah. And so I made a couple of batches that I thought I would keep for myself. And last night, yesterday afternoon, my wife went to one of her friends' houses, and she said, let's give them the 2 quarts of ice cream. So I did, and late last night, not too late, Aileen gets a phone call and says, was there any nuts in that ice cream?
Oh, oh.
And I didn't get the whole story. I just gave them the answer. I had made one that was butterscotch with broken up
Pecans.
Butterfinger candy in it, and Butterfinger's made of peanut butter.
Good. That sounds really good.
It is really good if you don't have a nut allergy, I guess.
Yeah.
But I think it was a pre-check because her son's friend had come over and they wanted to find out. So hopefully it was a pre-check because I didn't hear,
Yeah.
get the EpiPen out
Right,
for the kid. So I've been making deadly ice cream this week.
I was wondering how that was going to work into it. Okay. All right. Deadly ice cream. I was thinking, especially when you described what it was, which you said it was butter pecan. No,
it was butterscotch.
Butterscotch with Butterfinger pieces broken into it.
Yeah.
See, that would be deadly for me because I would eat the whole thing at one time. Those are like 2 of my favorite things.
There's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, but I'm actually, and I went to see my doctor, or a doctor, well, one of many, and he took my weight, and they were like, "Oh, okay," and I was like, "Is there a problem?" He says, "No, you've actually lost a lot of weight," and so he did it on a scale, and since I retired of July last year, I've dropped like 40 pounds.
Yeah.
So, and it's mostly because I'm sleeping late. And then when I get up, I have a grapefruit and an English muffin with either cream cheese or butter. And then that's it until dinner.
Yeah.
And it's not like I'm, I'm lifting weights and I'm working out and I'm going on these power walks. Every time I see somebody power walking, it's like, I want to get out of the car and slap them. It's like, what are you doing? You look like an idiot, as you're going like this down the street. It's like, don't do that. Okay. Go to a gym, get on a treadmill if you're going to do that, because all you're doing is making people go, and then you smash into the back of the car that's in front of you.
Causing accidents. Yeah.
Right. So don't do that. I have to say, before we go any farther, that I am still loving my Heil PR35 microphone. This thing is, it's not a long distance love affair, but I can't let my wife know.
When I had the equipment, when I had the equipment failure last week, I was using a Heil PR40, and it was like I didn't have an XLR to plug it into, so I had to switch back to a Shure MX7 Plus.
See that?
And
Heil PR40.
Yeah. and I felt like I was cheating on my Heil. Because I was using a Shure MB7 Plus, so I could get the USB directly in.
That's a good.
And as soon as this new board came in, I switched back to my first love affair.
Yeah. I loved my. Well, I make it sound like I still don't love it. I love my Heil PR40 microphone, along with all of the various Rhodes and Shures and Fifines and Moanos and every other kind of microphone that I have sitting back on the desk behind me. Way too many microphones.
Guys, microphone museum.
Mostly clean. Let's go ahead and jump over to Gaz's snippets. Mac Mini and Studio are now going to take about 3 months to deliver. So the Mac Mini and the Mac Studio have not yet been announced as having, coming up for updates. We all know it's going to happen. But the wait time for custom configurations is now nearly 3 months long, which coincidentally coincides with the upcoming WWDC in June. So if you were looking at a configured Mac Mini or a Mac Studio, I would probably hold off for now. And if you want to save a little money, then when the new ones come out, of course, whatever stock they have left is going to go right into refurb. So that would be the way to go for that. Now, what is your main computer that you're using right now, Marty?
I am using and I've got to get this open. I am using a Mac Studio with a M4 Max in it with 64 gigabytes.
You have absolutely zero reason to upgrade.
Does that mean I'm not going to do it?
No, I do. Okay, you know what? I forgot who I was talking to.
Right.
You know, the guy with 2 Neos. So yeah, you probably will. And is that the M4 Max or the M4 Extreme that you bought?
It's the M4 Max. Yeah, it's the M4 Max.
Fantastic machine. Oh my God. And you probably got 1, 2, 4 terabytes of storage internal with that.
You know, I don't. I think I've got 2.
Okay. Well, nothing wrong with 2 terabytes.
More info. No, I think I have 1. Absolutely.
That's fine too.
And the reason is because I don't like to keep stuff on machines. I like to get it off and stored cloud and on an external device or on an external hard drive. And that's where, so I archive. I don't have to archive a lot, but with the podcasts, I have to pull it off maybe every couple of weeks to get everything off it and get things clear. So
yeah, well, audio and video, it takes up a lot of room. I know that the typical once I've finished editing and exporting it, the typical GMen podcast is like in the 2 to 6 gig range for video. Audio not as much because I don't record at 320K and at 196. It's like no, it's going on to some kind of service that is going to downgrade it anyway. So there's really not much point in using the absolute highest audio settings that you have to record a podcast, unless it's you're going to hand them out on USB sticks or something.
I since Ecamm, I keep the raw Ecamm on until it's time to move everything off, and the show's on until it builds up to the point where I just need to clean both what's been stored in the movies section from Ecamm. But now that I'm doing the dual recording where you get the horizontal and vertical version of Ecamm. That doubles the amount of space that you're going to do with each show. So yeah.
Which, and real quick aside, well, not so much of an aside. Marty and I were actually talking about that before we started to record, and I was having trouble figuring out how to do it because most of the things that I saw on YouTube in regards to the new version of Ecamm was mostly people talking about, oh, it's so great, but none of them really talked about, well, how do you set it up? So Marty gave me some stuff to try, and I couldn't try it as we were talking because I was already using Ecamm. So it's like, no, these are things you got to do when you're offline. It's like, okay, got it. So those are things that I'm going to try to do. And so I'm probably going to start putting some shorts together as far as video goes in relation to the GMen Show, and start posting those as well. Just little, snippets. Speaking of snippets, moving on to the next story. Airlines beginning to restrict portable power charges. The FAA is restricting the size and amount of portable lithium power banks to 100 watt hours as the standard limit, and larger sizes only with airline approval. They must be carried in your personal bags, brought on board, and cannot be checked. Southwest Airlines has taken it a step further by not allowing them to be used on board. To be fair, they are putting in power outlets next to the seats, with the reasoning being that you should charge portable devices using that instead. When you travel, do you take a power bank with you?
Depends on where I'm going.
Yeah.
And how far the flight is. If I do international, I will sometimes take a power bank with me. I get new devices, so my devices are charged up before I go. So the distance for me to get to some place is generally, and the time is generally less than what I have in terms of battery power on whatever device. So I've tried to declutter. I like the idea that they're putting in making power outlets more available. They used to be like only in first class, or they used to be in like extended class. And
Or more
it's a
premium
nice,
airlines.
yeah, and it's a nice
Southwest.
sign that they're saying we're going to take something away from you, but we're going to make it harder for you to gripe about it because we're giving you another option that's actually more functional.
Right.
Um,
And I don't know if Southwest does international flights, or
No,
like,
I don't think
I'm
so.
guessing they don't do Europe or Asia or something like that. They may have some flights to like Mexico or the Caribbeans or stuff like that, but for the most part, it's all domestic flights, which typically aren't going to be longer than 4 to 6 hours anyway.
Yeah.
So
And
if you have an Apple device that doesn't last, if you're editing 8K video while you're in your airplane seat, number one, why? Number two, just plug it in if it's available, and hopefully it is.
Yeah, my thing is Vision Pro. I will take my Vision Pro on flights, and if I'm doing Cleveland to Portland, that's a good 4.5 hours.
Sure.
And so I have two batteries that I can take with me for that. I don't know how that's going to be impacted by this. I guess now I can bring some sort
those
of.
are like battery packs that are specific to the Vision Pro.
Yeah.
It's not like you're recharging the battery that you're going to use with the Vision Pro. It's just another battery that the Vision Pro uses.
Yeah.
So that should be fine.
And international flights are much more generous in terms of the availability of outlets than we ever had in the U.S. So I always came prepared and always felt like I was lugging too much stuff that I never needed to take anyways.
Yeah, that's what I do with my podcast gear. Every single time. I took, it was a couple of Mac stocks ago. I took an entire small backpack filled with microphones to show Dave at his house, because I met him over at his house. And I got through like 4 or 5 of them, and he just kind of looked at me, says, because I had them all wrapped in bubble wrap and all this stuff. And he was like, "Why did you do this?" And it was like, it made sense at the time. Now thinking back on it, why did I do this? But it was dumb. And I've tried to limit the amount of stuff, and we'll see if I manage that for this Mac stock, because I'm gonna have Doc Rock and Katie on at some point, and so I'll need 3 microphones, which means I'll need an interface that can do that, or an interface with 2 and at least 1 USB microphone.
Yeah.
That's always fun.
I will stock up because I'm driving.
Yeah, me too.
So last time previous, I think maybe the first 2 I actually flew to and rented a car and did that, but equipment needs have increased each Mac stock for me. So
of course it has.
Primarily because I would procrastinate on putting my talk together. And so I needed to have multiple screens and different devices and stuff to get my stuff together. But I'm driving now, and I can load up the trunk with a lot of equipment.
Right. Yeah, I'm driving this time too. But you know what? That's a topic for another day, or maybe offline.
Let's get to right.
All right. Last story of relative importance is that there are 3 Apple stores permanently closing. The 3 Apple stores include one in Towson, Maryland, that was also one of the first to be unionized. And then I think there's one in California, and a third one. And according to Apple, the stores are closing due to negative developments like multiple retailers leaving, while union officials claim it's retaliation for unionizing efforts at the Towson, Maryland store. I don't really know how to take this, because with two of the stores, not the one in Towson, they are offering people positions at other Apple stores in the area, but they're not doing it for the Towson, Maryland store. And Apple claims it's because of basically union rules. And I'm not sure, I mean, I cannot be 100% sure of how that works, but if you're a union employee working in one store and you go to a store that isn't unionized, how does that work?
I can't imagine that the union would, that once you sign on for that, that either you have to separate yourself from the union to take on another non-unionized store to be an employee there. So
Yeah,
you're obviously not going to carry union benefits over from one store to another store that's non-unionized.
right.
But if part of it is a way to the union to maintain employee rank in the current store that is unionized, I can see
Where that would
maybe
be a
something about the
problem.
union rules saying you can't move to another store.
Okay. Well, I'm sure there's going to be more on this coming out.
Have you been in? I know you're around the DC area, but
Yeah,
have you been in any of those stores?
I've been in lots of stores, but not the one in Towson.
Yeah, because we have a couple stores. One that is not necessarily affiliated with it's a shopping district, but it's not necessarily affiliated with a mall. And then we have another one that's right smack dab in the middle of the mall, and both of them are about the same distance from where I go. So I'll go one or the other. But frankly, there's more traffic in the Apple store than there is in some of the anchor stores
Right.
in the thing. And the anchor stores have not closed. They've changed ownership, and they've changed from one department store to another name department store, but they haven't closed. But still, the Apple Store is has the most vigorous people coming in, traffic coming in whenever I go there. So.
Yeah, well, the three stores that I typically go to, there's the one in Tyson's Corner, which was the second one that was opened back when the stores first started. Though there's an interesting story. It's store number 2, but because it's on the East Coast, it actually opened before store number 1. So they both opened on the same day, because store number 1 was in California.
Yeah.
The other one I go to is in Crystal City, the Pentagon City store. And the third one is in Clarendon, Mexico, Clarendon, Virginia. And that is in like a strip mall, I guess, for lack of a better term. That was in a strip mall too. I actually recorded a video for the first day of the iPad release, long time ago. And I did that at the Clarendon store. The last thing that I have for the snippets is, with all of the various devices that Apple has out there, OS 26.4.1 has been released, and bug fixes and security updates. That's most of the information that I've seen on 26.4.1. Have you heard anything else about it?
Nope.
I mean,
You know me. I'm already
emojis.
on the I'm already on the developer version of 26.5. So
Yeah, I've got that on my laptop. I don't put it on my M4 Pro, because it's like, is it gonna work when I'm doing podcasting? It has to work. All right. That is all we have for Gaz's snippets. And we are gonna move right over to the main topic this week, which is MacBook Neo potential issues for people that may be on the fence about buying one. And some of these, I think Apple can do something about with the next version. Some it's kind of like it was never intended to be a MacBook Air. It was never intended to be a MacBook Pro. If you want the kind of power you get with the Air or the Pro, then you should buy an Air or a Pro. Now you have two of these, and you bought the one because of course you did. And then you bought the second one was, and you're paying for that. You're doing installments for that. Can't be.
I already paid it off. I set up for installments, and within like a month, I wind up paying off the rest of it.
Sure. And they were both the higher end one.
Yeah, because the Indigo runs faster than the Citrus one.
Really? How? Oh, you're screwing with me. Okay.
That shuts me up. Screwing with you.
Yeah. Okay. See, I get jokes eventually. That's how this works. All right. Well, let's talk about some of these issues. 8 gigabytes of RAM. There's been so much bitching and complaining about the fact that this machine has 8 gigabytes of RAM, and that's all you can have in it. You cannot upgrade it. And the big reason for that is it's using the A18 Pro, and I think with the A18 Pro, 8 gigabytes is all you can have.
Right.
So that's the limitation there. Now for the next model, assuming that they go to the A19 Pro, I think the absolute upper limit for that is 32 gigs, though I don't think Apple uses more than 24.
No, I think it's 12. I'm not the absolute up limit, but generally I think it's 12 gig because people have been talking about getting onto that chip. Yeah, is that it would be a 12 gig. Here's my thoughts on this.
Sure.
It's like meeting a new partner and immediately thinking of things that you want to change in them.
Relationships like that.
Yeah, right. And so
you're
for
perfect,
me,
except for these 5 things
that you need to change.
Right.
And for me, when I hear these stories, a lot of stuff on Reddit on it, people keep talking and complaining about it. There's one this morning about how you can't run Parallels on it. Well, Dave Ginsburg ran Parallels on it last week.
Yeah.
So it's got these remarkable capabilities. So generally these kinds of complaints are written by people who have never touched the machine. And also secondly, probably are applying a Windows memories logic to Mac. And Mac has a completely different way of sharing out the memory as it's needed. And so they apply this Windows assumptions of what's going to run and what's not going to run to a different way of memory management.
It's a completely different architecture. This is like most Windows machines, not all, but the vast majority of Windows machines are piecemeal. So you have a processor and you have memory and you have a graphics card and you have this and you have that. You've got a modem. And with Apple's A and M series chips, that's all kind of built in. So the management of storage and the management of RAM is vastly different than what you're going to get on your, and again, typical Windows machine, and even typical Mac machine when they were still running Intel, because that was all separate components. Yeah. So 8 gigabytes of RAM is not a lot. Agreed. I'm not going to argue that point. Would it run better with more? I'm not going to argue that point either. I'm sure it would. But this is the limitation of the system on a chip, the A18 Pro, that they're using in the first generation Neo. So there is nothing that Apple can do about the first generation Neo. And if you talk to people who actually own MacBook Neos and have used them far and above and beyond what most people thought that this machine was going to be good for, you hear a lot of really good things. There's, you know, I think it was you that was talking about converting 4K video over to
Right.
HD, and it didn't take hardly any time at all using Final Cut Pro, which is not a
Yeah.
lightweight program. So
Yeah, I did. I did that.
yeah. So for the next model, I would expect that Apple will have a little more RAM. Will that be enough to make these people stop complaining? Probably not.
No.
But there will likely be 12 to 16 gigs of RAM in whatever the next version of the Neo is going to be. And we'll find out probably next year. They're not going to release another Neo this year. This is the machine to deal with right now. And it's a fine computer considering that it's $599 or $699.
Yeah.
Now,
I think it's tied. It's tied into, and I think maybe they're not going to release it for 2 years. But we are sort of tied into an educational cycle, which means it has to come out in spring or early summer in order to make the education market in the fall. And so, yeah, I think, I don't know. I think people are wanting to have the big issue now is they're running out of chips. So how are they, or supposedly they're running out of chips because there's a delay in production.
Right.
And the assumption is it's based on chips. It might not be based on chips. It just might be based on production flow and what's possible right now. But yeah. So who knows? I don't think they're going to want to get into the business of doing a new one every year for this particular entry level, because people will hold off and not purchase initially, thinking there's there'll be another one that'll come out next year I'll still be dissatisfied with.
And the crazy thing is, for all of the complaining that's been going on, Apple has been selling a ton of these machines. Some people I've heard even bought 2, but we can talk about that some other time.
Yeah, I think my second one is going to go to the most snarkiest person about it, and you and I can have a can talk about that off camera.
I don't know. For a MacBook Neo, I can get pretty damn snarky. I'll tell you that right now.
It's not a goal. Believe me, it's not a goal I'm looking for people to do.
It's just something that sometimes happens. The next big complaint that I've been reading about has been the display. And actually, this is kind of a deal breaker for me. 13 inches is small for a lot of people for various reasons. For me, it's because I only have one eye. And so I kind of need a bigger screen so that I can set the resolution a little bit higher than most people would for a machine like this. Now, Apple could probably go to a 14 or 15 inch for the next version, but they probably won't, as that would make the basic price likely rise higher. Some have also said that the quality isn't as good as the Air or the MacBook Pro. It's not as wide or detailed. The color spectrum isn't as great, and it's not as sharp, and it's like, if you need those things, why are you buying a MacBook Neo? For not much more money, you can get the Air. And for not much more money than that, you can get the Pro. If you're doing pro level work, you don't get consumer level products. You get what's going to make you more efficient at whatever the tasks are that you're trying to accomplish. I think that the next Neo, whether it comes out next year or 2 years from now, is still going to be a 13-inch computer. What do you think?
Interesting, because Brett Kennedy noted that in the code it was said MacBook Neo 13-inch. Why would you put that in his suggestion? And I think the article he read suggestion was that, why would you call it a MacBook Neo 13-inch if there wasn't down the road going to be a MacBook Neo 15-inch? So there's speculation that they could come out with another one. Again, you're talking about a larger screen size, more price. Then you've got to decide, am I getting a 15-inch Neo or am I getting a 13-inch MacBook Air?
Exactly.
And what are the advantages and differences with that? I, like you, I don't have one eye, but I try to get as much real estate on it. So I put it at the highest resolution or smallest resolution, I guess, or whatever configuration. And it gets a little squinty for me to work on. So I had to back off of that and get it. Again, my attitude about products is they're built for a reason. And what I'll do is buy the product and find the reason. And so this works well for me to and from work. It works well for me in the classroom, plugging it in and doing whatever presentations I'm going to give. I'm certainly not going to sit at the office and edit video on it, although I could with a larger screen.
Right.
Yeah, with an external.
Or even with the 13-inch. You know, some people have done that, but you can connect an external monitor to this machine. Now, is that going to give you 4K at 60 hertz? My God, man, no, it will not. But you can connect a bigger screen to it if that's what you need. But if whatever it is that you're doing and you need more power than the Neo is going is designed to give you, then get a better computer than that. And that's not to say that the Neo is a slacker or the Neo isn't, fit for purpose and all the rest of that nonsense. Almost said a bad word. The Neo is what it is. And it's a well-designed, well-built, not made out of plastic crap computer. And it's for what it is. And I've only messed around with one. But I was super impressed with it. But the display is where it loses me.
Yeah.
Storage, 256 and 512 is actually a good range for a low price laptop and is enough for most people. If you need more, there's external or cloud storage that's available. So going forward, would Apple make a Neo with 1 terabyte? Certainly not this model. And I would venture to say certainly not the next model either.
No.
So if you need more storage, either get it external or get a computer that offers more. And then you pay for that.
Yeah, this is meant to be, or really, I think of it as an ultra portable computer. Yeah. Take it to the office to get you what you're going to do at the office. 90% of it, 100% of it, you can do on this machine.
Right.
Email,
to be network
check.
Based.
Yeah, yeah, and so yeah, I think it's good for students. I think it's good for traveling employees in businesses. I'm not sure you're going to need more than 256, but let's face it, double the memory and get a Touch ID on it is a no-brainer for $100.
For $100, that's like
for
take my money kind of thing.
Yeah, yeah. I need to buy 2 more that are 256 without the touch, because the 2 that I have the touch.
Oh, Marty, you should have gotten one that was with it and one that was without it.
So, I know.
See, now you got to spend the money to get another one.
Yeah.
All right. Next up, the keyboard. Some have complained of no backlighting. While this is probably a pretty easy fix for the next generation, the Neo isn't meant to be a premium product as compared to the MacBook Air or the MacBook Pro. Turn on a light. Okay? If you need to be looking at your keys, just turn on a lamp. Not that hard. You probably have one right there. If you're on an airplane, you've got one above you in the overhead. That's
If
all you
you're
gotta
in a
do.
if you're in a hotel room and your wife is sleeping on the bed behind you, you do not turn on a light.
No, no.
You get a little bendable LCD lamp that, and we're going to talk a little bit on the next show about these kinds of things that you can add in if you really need it. It's helpful to have, and it's very portable.
Some of them are
If
USB
you
powered.
don't, if right, and you get a dongle that manages all your USB inputs on it.
Yeah, just get a hub, which, you know, I
Yep.
mean, I've got an M1 MacBook Pro. It's got 32 gigs of RAM. It has a 1 terabyte hard drive, a 16-inch screen, and weighs about 1,000,000 pounds carrying it around through an airport for, 2 or 3 hours. Which is why I think my next computer will be a MacBook Air, 15-inch MacBook Air. I love my MacBook Pro, but I wish it didn't weigh so much in the backpack as I'm walking
Yeah.
around. The last thing I have here is the trackpad. Now on the Neo, the trackpad is mechanical as compared to the tactile one that you get with the Air and the Pro. This is another thing that could be changed, but I don't think it would make enough of a difference to justify the extra cost. I don't know how much Apple pays in mass for these tactile trackpads that they put in. I mean, and it's not just the MacBook Airs and the MacBook Pros. It's their little portable trackpads as well that they do that with, and they charge quite a bit for. And it's part of the reason why mine still uses Lightning, is because I can't justify the cost of buying another one just to get USB-C. So,
Yeah.
it could be a single point of failure if they start having problems with those trackpads as compared to the tactile ones. But I still don't think that there's enough of a difference there to justify the cost.
Yeah, there's a couple of things that comes into play with this. One is the mechanics that you have to put in for a haptic keyboard, the power that you have to put in for a haptic keyboard. Or haptic trackpad. It's the same thing with the illuminated keyboard. It's going to be a power drain on it, and it's going to impact the battery life. So, that's all the considerations of why they didn't have these little extra bennies in the MacBook Neo. I use the keyboard. I'm happy as hell that the left part of it is a regular click and the right side of it is a back click. That's all I need. The haptic doesn't make a difference to me.
No, it really doesn't. And again, remember, we're talking about a computer that starts regular price $599 or $499 for with the education discount, and $699 or $599 with the education discount for the high end model. And that's it. There's no other, and this is such an un-Apple like product that I'm surprised that they're the ones that are making it. I mean, to be honest, when you get an Air or a Pro or a Mini or whatever, and you jump up to the next thing, whether it's RAM or storage or whatever, it's typically like $200 to go up to that next thing per thing. So, if you're going from 16 to 32, or you're going from 16 to 64 or 48, yeah, it gets pricey. So, that's what this machine is. It's an entry level computer with some compromises that needed to be made in order to keep it at the price point that they sell it for. And for what it is a wonderful computer and will serve people, especially in the education markets, or for people that are just wanting to kind of dip their toes in the Apple waters without spending, $2,000, $3,000, $4,000. Well, here's the perfect machine to do that.
Yeah.
It's a great.
Yeah, I think it's a brilliant move on Apple's part. We think of all the things that computers can do. Most of the people who buy them don't.
Right.
So people aren't buying a computer and thinking, can I do CAD design on this? Or most consumers are not thinking of Final Cut Pro and running, multiple streams through Final Cut Pro and doing large volumes of audio editing on it. They're thinking of pictures of my grandchildren that I can put into a movie, things like that.
Right.
These are all functional parts. And, even before the product was released, people are saying, well, it'll never run Creator Suite. It won't run Final Cut. It's like, why would they have created Creator Suite to not run on a machine they're about to release? Yeah. So and it works. It works. And so, yeah, I think we kind of have to get out of our little environment and think of what most people are using computers for. And from a school standpoint, if you're an admin in a school and you're trying to manage computers, or an admin in a business, you've got a closed ecosystem that's easy for you to work with versus the show that Windows computers can provide you when you're trying to manage it from a larger, secure ecosystem, or the inadequate versions. They're making lots of comparisons to Chromebooks with these things. Chromebooks don't teach students computing environments.
No.
They teach them how to run apps.
Yeah. So, and how to use a web browser.
Yeah. So.
Okay. So that's our, I would love to hear other people's opinions on this. Is there something else that the MacBook Neo either has or doesn't have, where's your hard, doesn't have, that would make you consider getting one, or things that make you go, no, it's not really for me? Would love to hear your feedback on that, and you will find out what those are closer to the end of the show. But meantime, we are going to go on over, and I need you to agree with me here, Marty. We're going to go over to Gaz's tips.
I agree.
He's nodding his head.
Hit it. Gaz's tips. Mostly. Gaz's tips. Mostly. Gaz's tips. It's time for Gaz's tip.
Nice moves there, Marty. I like it. You'll have to see the video. You'll have to go to the video, which will be on the Tubes of You under the Vert Shark channel, to see Marty dance. I don't think you have ever danced on any show.
I was channeling The Trip, that old movie from the 60s with Peter Fonda in it.
Oh,
and
yeah.
That's.
I would have loved to have seen that same movie with his father playing that role, but that's a whole other thing.
On Golden Trip.
Yeah, on Golden Trip. Oh, well, Catherine, we're just going to take a little bit of acid and see what happens.
I don't know, Norman.
I'm seeing John Wayne on the other side of that lake. The tip I'm going to give, let's talk about iPhone mirroring. And you can do this from the dock, your applications folder, or Spotlight. Unlock your phone when when it prompts you, and then approve the connection on the Mac. And you can do anything that you can do on the phone from the screen that you have on your Mac. And this is really cool. I have tried it before, and it's seamless. It just works seamlessly. So your requirements are, you must be on a Mac that's running Mac OS Sequoia 15 or later. Your iPhone and Mac need to be signed into the same Apple ID, same Wi-Fi and Bluetooth, same Wi-Fi network, and Bluetooth needs to be turned on, and they should be close to one another. I mean, yeah, okay, that makes sense. And you may need two-factor authentication to be enabled. So have you ever tried this, Marty?
No, I haven't. This is a great tip.
Yeah, it's so much fun. So do you agree that that's a good tip?
I think that's a good tip. Do I have to dance
more
again?
Yeah, there's more dancing coming.
Okay. All right.
That's the end of Gaz's tips. That's the end of Gaz's tips. That's the end of Gaz's tips.
Is that the end of the tip?
Will you let me finish?
Gaz, you are absolutely right.
Okay. Yeah, it's a whole thing. It's a whole thing that we do. Somebody actually, oh God, I cannot remember who created the Gaz's tips. I cannot take credit for the Gaz's tips song or the closing theme. Somebody made that for us well over 10 years ago, and we have used it in every single show since. And he went to the trouble to pull little audio snippets from the show in order to make it. And whoever you are, please, if you're still listening to this show all these years later, get a hold of me, because I want to give you credit. And because Gaz and I did 800 My Mac podcasts, and now we're up, 32 GMen shows. There is no way for me to go back through all of that content just to figure out who did this. And so please, if you created this, let me know. I will give you full credit, because it is a great little theme, and we really, really do appreciate it.
Yeah, you can hear it and hear it and hear it, and but once you actually experience it by being on the show,
Right?
I peed a little when it was happening.
No, I get it. I get that. Yeah. I actually, you've heard of Suno, the song?
Yeah, sure. Oh,
AI?
yeah. Yeah.
I actually, let me see if I can find it, and I will play it for you.
Yeah. Well, I started using Suno because YouTube kept marking my Creative Commons stuff, open source kind of theme music, as music that had been used on another source, or that was potentially copyright violation. And so I said, screw it, I'll just make my own music with Suno.
Make your own kind of music. All right, I think I found it. I'm going to drop this, drag and drop right over into Farrago. And I don't remember what the parameters are of what I told it. I wanted it to be short. I didn't want it to be super long. And here's what Suno came up with.
Gaz's snippets, headlines fly. We just clip bite-sized you won't miss it. Hey, tap in quick. Gaz's snippets blinking. You get the gist of it.
Oh God, what band does that sound like? I'm trying to think.
It's like a 90s aughts power pop kind of thing.
Yeah.
And I think
like Flagpole Sitter or something like that.
Yeah. If it was let me see, because I had to do a sign-off one too. So I can't remember if this is it, but I will bring it over. Oh no, don't do all of that. Oh, that would be bad. It just selected like almost everything I had in my downloads folder. It's like, no. Don't drop that anywhere. This show will come to a screaming halt.
I did one for Neo Notebook, and it's the one that we used for Neo Notebook. And I decided to include lyrics because I had written so much in of what I wanted it to sound like and what it would be like and what I'm going to use it for. It came up with lyrics that really kind of fit the show. So I left the lyrics in.
I love, so sometimes when I'm like super bored, I will just go over to Suno and say, make me a power pop song about eating cookies, or I actually have one over there. I said, make me a country song about a pumpkin that wants to be a movie star. And it did. And it was the weirdest thing that I have ever heard. And if we had more, maybe after we finish recording, I'll see if I can find it and play it for you, but it's really bizarre. So I think this is the closing one that I had in May. Let's find out.
Last flash from Gaz's snippets. Apple News on the brain. Scroll it, swipe it. That's a segment. Now we're jumping off the train.
If I ever do this show again, I'm going to have a catheter in me, I think.
Well, I actually, now for the audio version of this show,
Mm-hmm.
we just use the same song that we have been using for decades
Mm-hmm.
with this show. But for the video version of the show, there's a whole different one. And I'm going to play it right now because I actually have it plugged into the Stream Deck. And this will put it onto the audio version so that people can hear that as well. So here it is. Hold on.
Yeah, it's the GMen Show. Talking fruit, tech, and ego. Hot takes, cold coffee, still hitting every keynote. They roast your phone. No. They roast each other. Tips, rants, one after another. Is that a feature or just a bug? Either way, it gets a shrug. GMen Show. Turn it up. Let the fanboys know. Questions, rants, or a nerdy confession. Call in now. Join the obsession. 703-828-467777. 703-828-4677. Yeah!
Oh, so that's when you go and watch the video of the GMen Show, that's the opening bit for it. Now, the video
Okay.
itself, I mean, Suno did the music. I did the video through CapCut, if you've ever heard of that.
Mm-hmm. Sure.
And that's actually a really great basic
Yeah.
video editor. But they keep trying to get people to sign up for their subscription version, you know, with all new AI features. Like, I need that like a hole in the head. It's like all I ever wanted was just basic video editor that I can adjust the volume, you know, sign up, sign down,
Mm-hmm.
fade in, fade out. And that's all I really use.
Yeah. The
And
old
it had
film
to be
strip.
multi-track because, you know, there's different
Yeah.
segments and stuff. And it can be done in iMovie, but Apple has this weird way of putting in, not keynotes.
Yeah.
It's key something. And
Key.
now
Yeah. Key stuff.
keyframes.
Keyframes. Yeah.
Right. And it's not really very intuitive. So I don't like using iMovie.
Yeah, iMovie used to be this kind of film strip thing, you know,
Yeah, it
with
was
multiple,
great.
and you could just close it and do what you want. And then they made it
messed it up.
so grandparents can can put together instant movies of their grandchildren's visit,
Right.
and it then turned it into a non-functional program.
Well, I mean, it functions, but if you want to do more with it, then God, this show is like just going off on all kinds of weird tangents. Big surprise. If you want to do more with your video, iMovie is not the program to do it in.
Right.
Now you can go ahead, and they've made it remarkably cheap. You can go and get the Creator Suite from Apple and get Final Cut Pro, but there's a huge learning curve with that.
Mhm.
Same thing you can get for free, DaVinci Pro, which is another really good editor, but it's even the free version is more of a professional type program for people that say, oh, okay, I know what this means and I know what that means, and I'm going to take this and I'm going to put it all around and I'm going to do all this stuff. And if all you want to do is, okay, I want to do like just a crossfade between this part of the video and this part of the video, and I want the music to fade in and then the audio to fade up, and I mean, just the simple basic things that you do with video. Final Cut Pro and DaVinci are also not really the programs that you want to use unless you want to take a lot of time to learn how they operate. CapCut, while they constantly tick me off by trying to add features to entice me to use the subscription model, it's a pretty decent editor, and I like it. And
Yeah, it's the baby bear software, not too hard, not too soft.
exactly
Right. Perfectly what you need.
And that is not my my pick, by the way. That I have something completely different for my pick. But yeah, check out CapCut and they have a version. I know they have a version for the iPad OS. I don't know about with iOS, but it's at least the iPad OS and Mac OS. They have versions for that. And that's what I use whenever I get around to doing the videos for this. I'm like a couple shows behind in posting these videos. And I have no excuse because I'm retired now. And, you know, it's just I sit here in front of the computer. It's like, oh, do I want to do that or do I want to watch YouTube videos? Let me think about that a second. So, procrastination, thy name is Guy. My actual 4-pick sake this week is Backblaze. This is a cloud backup system, very easy to configure and use. $99 a year for one computer and any storage you have attached. I have a 4-bay drive thing here. Yeah, sorry to get so technical, folks. I have a 4-bay drive thing and it's attached to my Mac Mini. And for that same $99 that you would just connect up and back up that computer, I've got those 4 drives and my Mac Mini all going to Backblaze. And it has saved my ass more than one time when I've had drives fail. And with drives, especially actually any kind of drive, whether they're spindle drives or SSDs, the question isn't, will it fail? It's when will it fail? So keep that in mind. And it's always good to have something that isn't on site in case there's a disaster related to your house. You know, it gets, you know, blown up or it catches on fire or whatever. You can, your data is safe. And so Backblaze is what I have used for many years now, and it's well worth the $99 that I spent for it.
Cool.
You got a pick?
So this, my pick comes from an issue I had this week with my XLR mixer getting fried, having to switch to a USB port and not paying attention to where my audio output was going. Recorded a whole show of the old Mac Gang and blew it. It was set to my earphones instead of my microphone. So I was trying to find some simple way, because I remember a time where you could, and you still can, put your sound link in the menu bar. So easy check. I didn't want to have to go into system preferences, sound,
Right,
and go through all of that stuff. And there was the option of Sound Source, which is a $40 product that Rogue Amoeba does. And I wasn't ready to put money down for it yet. I might, but at this point, I wanted it simple. I just wanted to know what the input was, where it was coming from, the variety of input devices I have, and where the output is, and in going through. And Ears does that. This is an app that I found actually used Claude to help me find it, because I was not finding anything in the app stores to give me this. One of them referenced Sound Source, but I didn't realize it was tied to Rogue Amiga until Claude pointed that out to me. So I went with Ears. It's $15 and it's very simple. Has a full screen if you want to open up the app that way, but it also, you can put it in the menu bar at the top.
Nice.
And just pull that down and it'll tell you really quickly where your microphone's coming from and where your output's going to with it. And I'll play with that for a while, and then I'll probably over purchase what I actually need by getting Sound Source from Rogue Amiga. So
Yeah, and to be fair, Rogue Amoeba makes some really, really good audio apps. We could have a discussion about that later. I found something that's very, very cool, but we won't go into that right now. If you would like to support this show, you can do so by going to ko-fi.com/MacParrot. You can also PayPal through paypal.me/MacParrot. Those are those are our two. Thank you for being the G-men kind of payment things. Yeah. So, but you don't have to. I've been doing this show for free since 2006, and I'm still going to do it for as long as I possibly can. So, this is how I force myself onto people. So get over it. That's all I got to say. If you want to do some wow, where did all that come from? So much anger. If you would like to do some feedback for this show, you can do it through whatever aggregator that you use. But remember, I probably won't be able to find it. So let me know where it is, and we will talk on the show about it and read your feedback. If you say that we're garbage, we will say that. If you really like the show, we'll say that too. And you will get something from me and Marty is going to get one for being a guest on the show that will change your life, will make you question all of the choices that you have ever made prior to getting it. And this is called a Woo Tea. And if you don't know what a Woo Tea is, it is a big W, sorry, no, that's right. Big W, big O, big T, little I, little E, exclamation mark. That's a Woo Tea. And it's amazing. You can also send us a bumper, and these are little audio snippets, please, 10 seconds or less, where you say something like, Guy and Gaz of the G-Men Show have bad breath, but we can't smell it because it's recorded audio, or whatever it is that you want to say about us in about a 10-second window. You can, and we will play that in the audio version of this show just before the main part of the show starts. If you must use naughty words, Marcus, you can, but they will be beeped. Marty, if people wanted to get a hold of you and question your life choices for being on this show, how would they do that?
The simplest way to get a hold of me is just use my last name, at Gencius, Gencius. I'm on all the socials. So you can catch me that way, except the Twitter machine. I don't do the Twitter machine anymore.
Okay.
And you can also connect with me on the podtalk.net, the website that has my shows on it.
Right. And check that out. He's got a lot of shows going on there. And are there any shows from other people there?
I have connections to like Chuck's and to Dave's. I make reference to being on those shows.
Okay.
But yeah, I had this insane idea maybe we'll talk about after.
Okay. All right. Sounds good. If you would like to contact Gaz or myself, you can do so by sending us an email through the email client of your choice. We don't judge. And that would go to gmenshow at icloud.com, GMENSHOW at icloud.com. DJ voice. There's the two main socials that I'm on are politically the opposite of each other. And I think I do that on purpose because I just love the abuse. And that would be Twaxter and Skies of Blue. I am both MacParrot and VertShark over there on the Twax, and MacParrot and VertShark over there on the Skies of Blue. You can reach Gaz by going to GazMaz, GazMaz, on wow, words are still hard. Mastadon, GazMaz at c.im, and also on BlueSky. And one last way to do it, as far as the socials go, is Guy and Gaz, GYANDGAZ, on both Twax and Skies of Blue. Now we have a Google Voice number, and Jeff Gamet was kind enough. Ooh, I just lost my place there. Here we go. Come on, get me back there. Thank you. Jeff Gamet was kind enough to record a little thing for this, and here he is.
Guy has a Google Voice number. The G-Men want your call. Call him now.
Right. So you can call us now at 703-828-4677. It's a Google Voice number. If you're outside of the U.S., the country code would be 1, and then the number, and you might incur incur charges if you dial it directly. And if you missed that number, here it is again.
703-828-4678.
That's right, everyone. 703-828-46 over there on the Google Voice numbers, and you can reach us that way. Some of the other stuff I do is Guy's Daily Drive, which is mostly an archive of all the ones I did driving to work, going all the way back to 2018, and Tales from the AI Verse, which I still only have 2 episodes out there that I'm way too slow of rolling out, but I swear there will be more Tales from the AI Verse before I get there. Now, Marty, we're at the super sad part of the show, and that's because we have to say goodbye to all these nice people. And it breaks my heart. And I mean, all kidding aside, we really, really do appreciate the fact that you download and listen to the GMen Show over there on Spotify or through the podcast aggregator of your choice. And Marty, I think that this week, I can't guarantee anything from the past or anything in the future, but that this week we were good enough, that this week we were smart enough. So it's really hard to get through that sometimes. And that doggone it, Wolf, Gaz has a dog named Wilf. So that's why when I say doggone it, I say Wilf, Walf, Wolf, Wilf, and all kinds of other things. That people like us. Now, I don't know if you're ready for this. We always do a couple of jokes at the end. Marty, someone glued my deck of cards together. I don't know how to deal with it. I will never forget what my grandfather said before he croaked. He said, "Want to hear my frog impersonation?" And I have a riddle. What happens when you buy an alarm clock that swears at you?
You get a rude awakening.
Oh, you cheated. You went down and saw it. How dare you, sir? And
so you can all go home and there's nothing to worry about. Get out of here now. Go on home and I go home.